It's Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akashat Zabiri. How you doing?
I'm fine. I want to do a shout out to Omoumi Dada, the actress that was in this.
Omoumi Dada.
We know her now. She's
been on the View before. So she's recently on at the Michigan University. I'm trying to get all the course together as an. What's it called? Global artist in residence. This is somebody that I have their number. Doing big things like this. I don't know how I missed this news. But I found out very late.
I think I'm following her.
Yes, I wasn't following her. That was the fault. So I have apologized and I followed because we were doing WhatsApp. I thought it was Instagram. So I followed like this. Congratulations on Mommy. I'm very proud of her. She's one grounded actress amongst them that no controversy. She don't want drama. And academics is something I love. Seriously. Well done.
How are you doing, Tope?
I'm happy to be awake and grateful to be alive. But
what happened that you haven't slept?
It's been a very busy. On Friday I was saying busy season, but I committed to a few things. So I was the co-anchor for City People Real Estate award yesterday. I made the commitment without realizing what my schedule will be like. So site inspection, allocation. Customers, I'm going to apologize. I've apologized to them one-on-one, and I'm apologizing now. So my Ijebu, I collapsed 2 estates into one day. I didn't think about my clients and the impact it will have on them. So the representatives had to wait for hours when we finished one location before going. They raked. I apologized and apologized. So next time I won't do that. We will do separately. It was just I was trying to cut costs, and I admitted. They were happy that they felt that she was really humble, but I knew they were really angry. It was just the apology that got to them. So I'm apologizing to you again. I'm sorry. We'll do better next time.
How are you doing, Obiajulu?
Hey, I don't have energy. I've been doing water fast. For 3 days. Today's the 3rd day. So I ate last Thursday, 9 p.m. Just had yogurt here. Because of the fair and the sales were not that much, I was just buying waffle, abacha, I was just eating. So by the time I looked at my face in the mirror the next day, I wasn't liking what I was seeing. I said, I had to fast. So, but I'm going to end tonight. Let's say like 5 p.m. And I start with my I'm looking like when I saw myself in the mirror today, I'm like, girl. Then immediately I'm going into the keto diet. Bam. Yes, we have to look a certain way for this December, dirty December.
You reminded us that we were in the vanity business.
Yes, so we gotta look good.
We gotta look good.
I had a very busy weekend. Till Friday, I was MC at the 12-hour praise in my church. And I was MC, you cannot just you can't sleep somewhere.
Never.
You must be MC. So I did that. And then Saturday, I had a fantastic one-day party. Congratulations to Uncle Ola Ogune. He gave out his daughter in marriage. I mean, the party was fabulous.
It was lit.
Fabulous. Usually when you go to one-day parties, and you enter the party, the DJ is the one playing. Eventually, the band comes in. This one, they used a different system. Band was playing from the beginning, from the cracking as you're entering like this. Your body's already I was like, this is different level. I mean, and it was fun. After party, there was lots of I had a ball.
You love parties.
I danced. No. When next party I'm doing, I'm using that style. Let the band start from the beginning. DJ just like he enter somewhere, but band is the deal. Anyway, so on Sunday, Mr. Yinka Banere invited me for a charity. He's been feeding 100 people every year.
Wow.
Surprised. Supporting them with school, education, scholarships, and stuff like that. Congratulations, Mr. Yinka Banere. Thank you so much. It was really nice. So it was a busy weekend for me. Back to back. So I have not slept. If I can get some sleep this week. All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
We're going to start with the nation. Imo Kogi governorship polls. Uzodinma Ododo triumph. Inflation rises on soaring food energy prices. Terrorists kill 100 in Burkina Faso attack. 5 die in Ijebu Ode Road crash. Oyo seals illegal mining sites. Customs raises exchange rates for importers. Naira to rebound with $34.8 billion diaspora remittances. And Nigeria equities return rises to 10.7 trillion naira. Okay, which story are we starting in the nation?
Inflation of food price increase. So the nation carried out what they call a survey, an economic survey of food, and economic intelligence reports by economic and finance firms surveyed by nation, and this indicated that continuing increase in cost of basic foods, logistics, energy, and other living items have pushed up inflation to about 27.5% in the month of October. They said that the indication shows that it may continue to rise to more than 110 basis points to more than 27.5% for October. And consumer price index, otherwise known as inflation rate, had risen for the ninth consecutive month from 25.80% in August to 26.72% in September. This, of course, is reflective of our realities right now with the way even Gary is now over 2,000 naira. AfriInvest said it expected inflation to rise by 102 basis points to 27.9% in October, and this is confirmed by nation.
Okay, so let me take the story on the Naira rebound. So despite the turbulent time facing the Naira, market forces or market feedback shows that the local currency will harness major positives before the end of this year. According to this report, the Naira appreciated by 21.76% against the dollar in the I&E window. The official market rate closing rate was about 780 Naira to the dollar, although parallel market is still about 1,100 at the end of the market time. According to this report, said when migrants sent home part of their earnings in the form of either cash or goods or to support their families, those transfers are known as workers or migrant remittances, and they're supporting the economy right now. According to PricewaterhouseCoopers, analysts said that one of the low-hanging fruits expected to trigger Naira's continued rebound is the remittances of $34.8 billion from the diaspora Nigerians living and working abroad to strengthen the domestic economy. PricewaterhouseCoopers also estimated that 25.8 billion inflows from diaspora to Nigeria since 2021 that will double in the coming years, and they are expecting that this growth will indeed strengthen our domestic economy.
Yeah, so human interest story. 5 persons died and 1 person was injured in yesterday's accident on the Ijebu Ode Ore Expressway. The accident happened about 6:09 a.m. at Ososa Junction, and it involved 2 unmarked vehicles, a Mack truck and a Honda Accord car. According to the story, they said the Honda Accord driver was speeding and had a side collision with the truck while trying to overtake it. Now, a statement by the Chief Route Commander and Federal Road Safety Corps, a public education officer, Ogun Sector Command, Florence Ogbe, said the bodies had already been deposited at the Ijebu Ode General Hospital morgue, and said the accident was or could have been avoidable if caution had been taken. And the advice is to stop making quick turns, on the expressway, or maybe
Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show, La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
Teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. You can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, Pere. How many times has Ghana qualified for the World Cup?
5 times. Hey, you can't do that now.
That's what it is.
Wait. Calm down. Why are you like this?
This is your team.
Small play now.
They will not
Somebody cannot play with you again.
They will not be impressed though. The team that you're supporting and
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, that's last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for a fantastic conversation. Don't miss it.
Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome pioneer Positive Force member, dancing queen of the 80s, non-conformist, Afrobeat historian in her right, and long-standing member of the multiple award-winning all-female show Your View, Omoyeni Yeni Anipulapo Kuti, aka YK Power! Ginger!
Take it.
Today we'll go here.
Hey, I didn't read you.
Are you sure?
Ha. I'm not here to answer questions, I'm here to drink.
We're in trouble today.
Wait till your age.
I was close now.
I
said 1975.
He said 73. He said...
Still reviewing Punch. Any other story?
Yes, I have the VC story. So the Committee of VCs, Vice Chancellors of Nigeria, have responded to the letter signed by the Accountant General of the Federation, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Madeyin, and the Director of Revenue and Investment Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, where they said that the auto deduction policy of gross IGR was in line with the finance circular with reference to December 2021, and they gave all the details of the circular. But the details is that the federal government would plans to deduct 40% of the internally generated revenues of federal universities. The Committee of Vice Chancellors are saying when they have not been given autonomy, this should not even be considered by the federal government, and they're insisting they should rescind it. They said that if the federal government insists on continuing with this automatic deduction from internally generated revenues of partially funded federal government institutions, they said this will fall back on parents, who are most likely, of course, parents are the ones majorly funding university education for kids in Nigeria. They are pleading, they are appealing, said that they should not shun their plea. And they said that parents should also join in fighting against this. Specifically, 40% could only be sent to the FD if there was a surplus. And if there's no surplus and they lack funding, the deductions should not go on right now. We understand that the government needs, revenue. Yeah. So they should tidy this up. If it is not feasible, it should not be done.
Okay, so I have the story of the Senate president who was represented by Senator representing Ogun Central, Shuaibu Salisu. They were speaking at the 100th birthday colloquium of the Second Republic lawmaker, Senator Kunle Oyero, organized by the Abeokuta Grammar School, Old Boys Association, and our Mr. Odunto. Odunto was also at that event. Anyway, so Otumba Tondi Odunto. So the Senate president was saying that one of the out of the three arms of government, the legislatures are the most hated and ridiculed. He said the problem is that the metrics, according to him, one arm of the government that people don't really understand is the lawmakers. He said that the problem is that the metric of measuring performance of legislators by the electorate is different from what is contained in the syllabus. According to him, what they're supposed to do is make laws, do oversight functions. But for Nigerians, the electorate, the metric they use is how many transformers you provide, how many physical material things you provide for the communities. Yeah. That's their own measuring the stick for returning it. So if you don't do those things, you won't get a return ticket. But Otumba Odunto advocated that lawmakers should still work part-time regardless. Let me just make sure
I agree with him.
Yes, I want to take the story. Ongoing Israel-Hamas crisis has led to lots of death, and the Arab nation have opposed the Gaza occupation, and they want a probe by ICPC. This took place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, at the Joint Arab Islamic Extraordinary Summit, and they were demanding a ceasefire in the ongoing war. This the United Nations public funds, as well as the United Nations Children Funds and the World Health Organization, have called for urgent international action to end the ongoing attacks, especially on hospitals within Gaza. The summit also, in the summit, they also highlighted the fact that it's impossible to overlook the Palestinians' cause or attempt to ignore the right of the Palestinian people. So it is a combination of both sides, and they are asking that the ICPC probes what is going on. They are stressing that the Arab Peace Initiative needs to be backed by the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and that it's important that they work hand in hand to ensure there is peace within that region, especially since the vulnerable are being killed on a daily basis.
Okay, let me move on now to Daily Sun. APC wins Imo, Kogi, Diri, Silver, no faith today. Panic grips CBN staff over planned reorganization. Jam Lord Senate probes of admission racketeering. Cultists kill 5 in Rivers, give conditions for ceasefire. Identify arrest sponsors of electoral offenses in Bayelsa, Kogi, Imo, Serap tells INEC. NAF bombards terrorist stronghold in Borno, kills, scores, destroys gun trucks and others. An NGA conference at Tinubu, Amuka, Obagbena, 300 editors to storm Uyo. Governor Eno is the guest of honor. Okay?
Yes, so a major reorganization at the Central Bank of Nigeria is, what everybody is looking forward to. This was revealed by Daily Sun. It said that redeployment and appointments are part of the recommendations of the panel currently probing the activities of the bank as ordered by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But now they don't know if it will involve termination of appointments, but experts are saying that the Apex Bank needs to be urgently reorganized. And the panel headed by Jim Obaze is also saying that they need to reset Nigeria's monetary policy to restore investors' confidence and general operation more efficiently. And they said that under the administration of the former President Muhammadu Buhari administration, they said the CBN ran like a political party. There were actions that were politically engineered, not economically motivated. And, this is unhealthy for a regulator body because the CBN should not even dabble into politics in the first place. And so they understand that sometimes the CBN needs like a political backing or support, but it should not be taking directives directly from politicians in their everyday operations. And so there's going to be a lot of house cleaning or reorganization, however I want to call it. So there's this fear, are they going to sack some people? Are they going to keep some people? Let's see how it plays out.
Yes, so Hurricane Cardoso is in CBN also. Daily Sun, APC wins Imo Kogi. I think I said that already. Let's look at that story. Let me take the Nigerian Air Force story. So, still in Daily Sun. The Nigerian Air Force yesterday said its fighter jets under the air component of Operation Harinkai had bombarded another terrorist haven located at the Banki Junction areas in Borno State. The NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Edward Gabquet, who made the disclosure, said that the terrorists perfected their plans to attack the troops' location around the Wajiroko area, where they had hidden 4 gun trucks under the thick shrubs. He said that in their efforts aimed at clearing the remnants of terrorists, coming to terms that their efforts at causing mayhem and disunity among law-abiding Nigerians.
The Odieme Renyi community in other East local government area of Rivers State, and they killed 5 people. They threatened to continue the killing. The court is saying that the only condition for them to stop the killing, according to an eyewitness who refused to, whose brother was also deceased, killed by these 5 people who refused to be identified, said that the courts, some of them are Charles Osu, Ogbuola AJ, and 2 others, that they said they have to release their sympathizers and sponsors. The Nigerian police has to release their sponsors and sympathizers, as well as chiefs that the police arrested after the killing of the DPO, or else they will continue to attack that community and continue killing people.
Okay, Vanguard.
Yeah, no, I still have a story in the Sun. It's a story about the Minister for State for Defense, Matawale, speaking concerning the fact that there is hope that the government, based on the actions of the government to reduce oil theft, they're planning to boost our oil production to 1.9 million barrels before the end of the junction with the Navy. He said that the president had invested heavily in modern weapon and equipment for the military to be able to bring an end to all form of crime, including banditry and oil theft. And this is after he came back from a trip to Turkey, and it is to see the attack helicopters that have been acquired by Nigeria. So we're looking forward to increased oil production, because it would also mean increased forex coming into Nigeria, and hopefully Nigeria would have more defense against the drop in its naira value. There were many other things said, but if people can get the details on how they are planning to achieve the 1.9 million barrels by the end of the year.
All right, Vanguard, very quickly. Let's find a sort of notice. Alleged missing racketeering. Alleged admission racketeering. Senate probe welcome, says JAM. Wanted killer of Rivers DPO 2 Babas men storm community, kills 5. 2024 budget, how to end Nigeria's economic woes, says Senate. Insecurity now, businesses, Matawale. Edo to become first world economy, says Obaseki and others. An annual confab, Amuka Al-Shaba, Obaya gonna lead 300 letters to Uyo. Okay, which story we have from Vanguard?
JAM racketeering. Alleged admission racketeering happening in JAM right now. The Senate had called that JAM will be probed along this for admission racketeering, and the JAM registrar responded at an event this weekend where he said that he welcomes the Senate. He's even commending them for considering the probe. This was centered around a JAM candidate, Chinyere Ekwe, who wrote JAM and got a 291, and at the time when her score was done for post UME rating, she had 241, which was below the course of choice, which was medicine and surgery in Usuka. And so she was offered by the university the option of taking medical laboratory as a course, which she did. Ordinarily, you should go to JAM and do a change of course form. I feel a change of course form, which validates the new offer,
yes.
which she didn't do. So the school continued with it, only for the school to over-admit for students' quota for medical laboratory, would now affect her that they are now blaming JAM for it. Yes. So JAM is saying they're completely free. They would like a probe, you know, because they know they are.
All right, let me just take some good news coming from Edo. So Governor Obaseki, who's the chairman of the Board of Trustees at Alagodaro Economic Summit, and the Dr. Aswe Ighodaro have been saying yesterday that Edo State has the potential to become the first world economy on the continent. It says that since they started the summit in the last 7 years, they've attracted $4 billion, noting that the states could drag Nigeria out of its untapped potential, redirecting the nation out of poverty to a point of development. He was saying that Edo State has grown 140% from the economy of $10 billion to $25.8 billion, and is going to be growing 4%. So that's some good news. Hopefully, if they can indeed harness its potential in Edo State, it can help Nigeria to get out of poverty. Let's go on a break now. When we come back, move on to a sponsored segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty, erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes,
whole grain cereal, you don't have to go through all
Thanks for staying with us now. So welcome to our sponsored segment. AnyWorkX is an online marketplace where vendors of legitimate services can showcase their business to prospective customers anywhere and at any time. Join us to tell us more about about it is the Executive Director of Product and Strategy of AnyWorkX app, Mr. Bolaji Bayo Tijani. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Tell us about AnyWorkX.
Okay, thank you very much for having me today. Anyworks, not Anyworks X.
Oh, it's Anyworks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's to the artisans, and it's Anyworks is an aggregate of the service industry. So whatever service you're looking for, you can find it on Honeyworks. We have about 200 services listed on the hub.
Wow. So we have a number of service businesses, like you just mentioned, and I'd like to know what separates Anyworks from others. What's unique about Anyworks?
Okay. The first unique thing about Anyworks is that every other attempt we've had at e-ordering service apps are specific to a particular industry.
Okay.
But Anyworks is an aggregate of all players in the service industry, ranging from medical services to legal services to creative services, even media, you know. And we also have the blue collar industry. We have a painter, a photographer, we have the makeup artist. We have all kinds of services listed on Honeyworks. That's the major branding for Honeyworks. It's an aggregate of all services in the industry. So you can reach out to any service provider on our application, ranging across these service industries, and book the services when you need them.
So when I hear Anyworks, I remember when we were in school, you know, it was a local...
In school?
Yes,
really?
in the hostel, people would come around and like, any work, like their job is to hustle out anything that you need done and get it done. Yeah. So having to now see it become, having someone create that idea of providing any solution to people's basic needs, and then digitizing it is very, very good. So can you tell us about how you came about the idea, so that if in case it is not what I'm thinking was the way you came about the idea, how did you come about the idea of creating this platform?
What you're thinking is actually part of the idea.
Okay.
It's also part of what we needed a service and we couldn't get it. You know, it happened to me recently. I needed an electrician. The electrician I used told me he's not around, that he's not going to come back until the evening, which means I wouldn't have light till he comes back in the evening. Sure. But with Anyworks app, I can instantly go on the app and search for an electrician within my vicinity, and it will come to me and render the service. Another reason why we have created Anyworks is that if you look at the Nigerian GDP from 2012 till date, the service industry has played a major role in boosting our GDP. As of 2022, the service industry contributes 44% to Nigeria's GDP, which is the highest. And we've thought, how do we make service rendering in this industry much more easy? We are bringing convenience into that sector, thereby driving productivity, increasing engagement, and ultimately economic empowerment of service providers across Africa. That is the reason why we have created Anyworks app.
Okay, so how does the app works for users?
Okay, simple. The app is available on Google Play Store, and it is 5 levels, and for the customer it is 4 levels. Because if we're verifying the service provider, we need to verify the customer. If a service provider is visiting a customer, we need to know that yes, we know this person, and the customer should also be at rest that we know this service provider that is coming to his or her place.
Yes.
So we have created this 5 levels and 4 levels of verification for both service provider and customers on our application. And without doing that verification, neither the customer nor the service provider can transact on the app. You must do this verification.
Okay.
So, thank you.
So you've already answered like 2 other questions, because the usual question would be that is, how safe is it if I bring somebody to my house and the person is doing the ritualist, and the person, I'm the only one, you know, those kind of things. So I'm happy that you said that there is a bit of verification process. Would you like to share so that people that are watching that intend to download your app now will feel more comfortable in using it?
Thank you very much. So for the service providers on our application, we take their facial verification, then the verification of the national document, the NIN or international passport or driver's license. Then after that, we do their address verification. Where do you live? We want to know where you live, and we do this verification with our enhanced AI system to verify users on our application. Then after that, we believe that every service provider is available on social media. They have a social media platform. So we ask them to give us their social media links. So we verify them also. That, okay, you're human. And the last level of verification for the service provider is the professional certification verification. So we want to know that what you say you do, are you a professional? Are you certified to do it? For instance, the medical service, are you certified to be a medical consultant? For the legal services, are you certified to be an Afrocentric app?
Okay.
It's an app made for Africa by Africans. So, but presently we have just launched.
Yeah.
So we're presently in Nigeria. Okay. But our goal is to be in other African countries by the start of Q1 2024. Okay. Yeah. So if I'm going to Ghana and I need a taxi driver to pick me at the Kotoka International Airport, I can book the service from Nigeria, Lagos, or Abuja, where I'm flying from. And I tell him I'll be in Ghana by so time, pick me up at the airport, and I can do that. If I need services in South Africa, I can go on the app and, book the services.
But if someone was listed on the vendor's app as a makeup artist, and then the person has the skill of a tailor, can the person just switch or even be listed for all of them?
No.
Because we experience that. Why?
As it is now, we value specificity. So you have to pick one thing. You're a professional at.
Wow. So. If you are a professional at everything now, like
we know people
that recognize only one for
only
now.
One thing.
Only one for now. But we're looking at a situation where a service provider can render more than one service because this is Nigeria.
Yes, and, we do more than one.
Somebody can be fixing fixing AC.
Exactly.
How does the vendor get their money after a successful transaction? How does that work?
That's our suite now, and I'm going to open up on that now. So we have this special feature, the Honeyworks in-app wallet.
Okay.
So for both the vendor and the customer, there's a wallet on the app. So your transaction, you receive money in this wallet, and the customer pays from this wallet. So how the wallet works, the customer is expected to fund their wallet with the amount required for the service. So, and the service provider renders the service and gets the money at the end of the service. So we have this escrow feature. So once the customer and service provider bargains and agrees on the terms of payment or the service fee that the service provider will be paid, the customer is mandated to pay that service fee. So the service fee is now escrowed, is kept in the wallet. Neither the customer nor the service provider have access
to the service
fee until the service provider has completely rendered the service and the customer is satisfied.
Yeah.
So the vendor receives the money to their wallet and they can withdraw to their bank account.
So what percentages does Honeyworks get?
Okay, so Honeyworks get just 15% on the service fee, which is the lowest in the industry, I must say.
Which industry? Thank you so much. I think, is there any final thing you want to say just as we wrap up now? Any final words to your customers?
Yes. So I would like to say that Honeyworks app has come as a productivity app. Today the cost of living is rising and people need to do more. People need to earn more. And we have this special situation in our continent where a medical doctor can also be a barber. So, this app has created that opportunity for people that want to render their services anytime, anywhere. So we have created this borderless market that you don't need to worry. Whenever the service need comes up, whether in an emergency, an urgent need, something you need in a dire situation, or you're just traveling and your car broke down, or you need a mechanic, you're in a deserted area, and you need a mechanic around you. Honeyworks has come to create that, room, that marketplace where people can easily shop for services. And you can be sure that the security and safety of our users is our priority.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll go on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So, Have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call
Do you think you can outplay me in this game of wits and knowledge? Can you go 7 rounds without flinching? I meant answering 7 questions correctly. How well can you hold your liquor? If you're curious, then join us for the most exciting conversation and games with your favorite celebrities on 7 of 7. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Made Kuti in the view. It's still 7 of 7 and we've been doing a whole lot of protesting. The only thing that remains is just to carry placard.
It's about 5 of 7 to be honest, because ask your question. I have so much to speak about once we finish.
We'll not give you the time because it's 7 of 7.
I will make the time now. He said he will not ask questions about science.
No.
Neuroplasticity.
And based on
he asked a question that was subjective about high life, and he did not finalize his answer about a Kuti question where there are only 3 of us.
Editor, scratch this part out.
That could have possibly composed the music.
Editor, scratch this part out.
Stupidity is an act of ignorance.
Hey God, my dear.
Was composed by which Kuti?
Femi Kuti.
Is that your final answer?
Oh God, I'm Seun Kuti. No, wait, Femi Kuti.
You said
Femi Kuti. Wait.
You can't be allowed.
No, you've not asked me anything.
Everyone.
You've not asked me anything. Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move way in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you said I should drink. There's no particular answer.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. your intro without.
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you said I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
And it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become subterfuge. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. Like it was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. We need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we...
And he thought I had disconnected at my end, and he was warning his foot soldiers that, you know, they are going to use beavers. We have to be serious. We have to really go to town, get people to come out and vote. We have to work harder. This is beavers they are going to use. So he was saying those things, and I just listened and listened. My way of doing some journalistic espionage. Let me hear some more heart-shaking remarks.
But to stay on that for a second, before we even continue, a lot of people still say that the last elections were the worst we've had because they feel that that IRF was a major component before even going to last weekend's election. So since you're talking about the fact that many said that beavers was a major factor in the fact into giving us the realistic numbers that we saw in these past elections, but what would you say to those who are insisting that this was one of the worst elections?
You mean
presidential elections?
Those saying that don't know what they are saying. I've seen elections far worse than that. In fact, the 2007 elections in modern Nigeria, the 2007 presidential election was probably the worst, because for that election, ballot materials were not serialized, which means you could take ballot papers from Edo State, you could take it all the way to Kogi and use. And in the history of presidential election litigation, the closest to having the presidential election annulled was in respect of that 2007 election, when the judges voted 4-3, the Supreme Court judges. We never had anything close to that. It was a split decision and it was close, 4-3, because the judges felt that, look, where you do not have serialized ballot papers, how do you account for the integrity of that election? What someone told me initially was that, look, it was even at the last minute that they decided, that some of them decided that, look, we can't set our country back by cancelling this election, because in the past, you could spend 3 years on election litigation. Obasanjo won the 2003 election, again another terribly rigged election, where in Ogun State, his home state, the votes recorded by his party exceeded the number of registered voters.
As in,
the Supreme Court said I was in the Supreme Court. Yes, I covered the judgment of the Supreme Court, and I heard what they said. Because during those years, we didn't have elections. They were simply writing.
And it was one of the forces that wanted to set the country on fire this year when the whole... Anyway, let's come back to... Yeah, let's go back to...
So we had elections in the past where figures were simply written. Nothing like beavers, nothing like card readers.
Everything was...
We had elections in the early 80s, 1983, when people were beaten up on election day and results were simply written. I can't blame those who were in their diapers in those years.
I don't know.
In saying that, oh, this is the worst election. How many elections have they seen? Did they see wet here, for example?
So, sir, let's go back to Saturday's election. So the PDP and LP are calling for a total poll cancellation after the declaration saying that INEC had likely connived to, you know, upturn the real results. What do you have to say?
That's for Kogi or where?
Yes, for even
no, for Imo.
Imo State.
Oh.
Yeah.
You see, there are certain things that we can't take away from our elections. We have not reached that point when we will have perfect elections. Let's not deceive ourselves. As INEC is trying to reform the process, as INEC is working towards electoral integrity, the Nigerian politician is a terribly devious individual. The Nigerian politician will find a way
around it.
Where the Nigerian politician is clearly the favorite to win an election, he will still look for crooked means that can ensure that
widen the gap.
That he does not want to take chances because he thinks that, look, if he takes it easy, the competition may not take it easy. So despite having a big chance of winning, a very big chance of winning, he will still seek to manipulate the process, and they use INEC staff. Before now, they will bribe INEC staff to sell from EC8A, on which the results are written to them. So this result, when they sell to them, they will bribe INEC staff at the level of collation, and the results will be swapped at the local government collation centers. They were doing this a lot. Now, since it's a lot difficult to do that, because the law, the regulations of INEC now says, okay, from the polling center you can upload the result. Yes. So they bypassed this idea of, okay, we take the result sheets to the collation center, the local government headquarters, where they can swap in transit. They no longer, they know that is very difficult to do now. So when they compromise INEC staff, you then find what sort of thing that was going to happen in the Ogori-Magongo, where result had been pre-written. So if the agents are not vigilant, that pre-written result goes in. But we thank God that there was vigilance, not even vigilance. And those guys said, no, show us result sheets for this election in the blank form. They've grown accustomed to the tricks that they use.
Yes, so they know how to.
You know, a situation in which somebody who used to be in the PDP, familiar with the PDP rigging machine, goes into the APC.
Yes, now teaches them what they've been doing.
What they've been doing over the years. When
it comes back to
the
PDP
dominant
again.
political party.
Yes.
Today, the APC is the dominant political party. Yes. They have their own modus operandi.
Yeah. All right, let me get a few more questions for you.
Yes. So, Bayelsa elections, we've not heard the final result because, of course, of the peculiarities of Bayelsa. Let's let our viewers know, some of these peculiarities and why we shouldn't judge it as INEC failing.
I was really worried about Bayelsa election because it was in Bayelsa that I saw boys from the creeks.
Yes.
Beating a policeman, a very senior, a high-ranking policeman, beating him in broad daylight. That was during the last election, and I was like, look, they've got to deal with these boys. That is an aside. In this election, the highest number of abducted INEC staff happened in Bayelsa. Some are still in captivity as we speak. Because, look, the riverine areas, are places where you've got to worry about the fidelity of the vote coming from that end, because these are very difficult areas to access even for INEC staff. A lot of manipulations usually take place. So as we speak now, we are waiting for the result from Southern Ijo and what's the other one? I think Brass.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, because 6 results, 6 local governments have been released now, and the governor has won 5. Silva won 1. I think Nembe.
Nembe, yes.
Silva is from Brass. The governor has a fairly comfortable lead. It's a small state, just 8 local governments. The population is really small. So with such a lead from the governor, it looks extremely difficult for Silva. It looks extremely difficult. This election, and you see protests from both sides. If this one organizes women to protest, the other one too will get his own women to protest. So they are trying to impress us, but we know the game. It's difficult to have free and fair elections in Bayelsa State. Sometimes you see they pump soldiers onto our streets. But the question is, whose bidding are those soldiers doing? I've seen where soldiers deliberately, they were told, look, this cosmopolitan part of the state, this is the party that is strongest. Suppress the votes from that end. And how do soldiers help politicians to suppress votes? They create multiple checkpoints along the road leading to polling centers. And some people will be willfully turned back. So if the votes are not impressive from that end, it puts the opponent at an advantage.
All right, we have to go on a break. When we come back, there's still more to talk about participation. Kogi election is another interesting part of this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ikechukwu, Sunday, Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro with that one.
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
and it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. Like it was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just did that.
Yeah.
Doubt and fear doesn't occur at the canvas, it shows in the canvas. It shows the conation of raw earthen material slabbed, stroked and molded at a pace provided by the doubt and fear. Every move weigh in the struggle of one to the other, merging the past to the present, brushstrokes of colors seen but not known. For when the wailing stops, the pieces settle down in abject beauty erected for a century of a century. Speaking, advocating, protesting as the arts are meant to be.
So, have you ever wondered what happens behind the curtains of a man's mind? Or perhaps you're one of those who wonder what men talk about when they gather. Well, here goes. Imagine what it takes to put together the perfect cocktail. Or maybe mocktail. we need a bit of sports, a sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
It's not just web, but who wouldn't you want to work with?
Yes, that's on that angle.
So Leifa had a very, very interesting...
You wouldn't want to work with who?
Not
There's no judgment.
No, and I
Oh,
respect,
they'll judge you
I
definitely,
respect
but we
this
won't judge
certain type of people. But what I dislike so much is when they tend to come to work and then they pour all their
resentment from
on
home.
you. Is it me that offended you? I'm not the one. I have no business. Man, just come and work with you, pay me at the end of the month, and let me go back to my house in peace and sleep. But when it comes to like divorced people, I cannot work with a divorcee. I can't see myself doing that. If I find out, if you can hide it, but if I find out,
when they are nice divorcees,
I would just.
What if they are nice?
Okay, now it depends. If you are nice, cool. But if you are the type that you don't know how to keep your anger to yourself, you always pour it on somebody. Well, I'll not drop my.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing last week's elections and we're sticking with Imo State for now. Tope, let me come to you.
Okay, so you started your comments concerning this elections about the fact that it's heavily monetized. People are vote buying has become the new thing. So we're no longer padding the vote, we're no longer writing results, we're now doing vote buying. And really, can we solve vote buying with the level of inflation and corruption in this country? How can we address getting credible elections with the vote buying system? How do we educate the population to collect the money and still vote their conscience? How can we grow democracy with vote buying? I'd like to hear your opinion on that, sir.
It's difficult now. It's very difficult. It's getting to a point that we must accept that this has come to be part of our electoral tradition. As bad as it is, politicians are devising new methods of buying the conscience of our people, and it is clear that the Nigerian politician is weaponizing poverty by your misrule, by your misgovernance. You created so many pauperized Nigerians, and those pauperized Nigerians simply can't turn away from gifts that you give them on election day. This thing became rife in Ondo State some years back when they said Dibo fun Wako Sebe. That was the slogan, Dibo fun Wako Sebe. Vote for us and cook stew. Prepare a stew.
Okay, obe.
Yes, obe, you know. So they started giving people money, and like play. Politicians now see it as the best guarantee for electoral victory. These days, they commit so much money into vote buying that they actually start vote buying sometimes a week to the election. They go, when they talk about door-to-door campaign, they are slipping money into people's hands. They are distributing, in Imo, they are distributing, even Bayelsa, they are distributing gari, rice, and money to people. In Osun State, ahead of the governorship election, Salah was approaching. They were giving people livestock. They will go to a particular homestead and give them livestock. It's vote buying, for God's sake. Vote buying is no longer limited. In fact, if we limit vote buying to election day, your chances of winning could be slim. So this time around, even in Kogi, people were given coupons. Those coupons meant that, look, we are going to give you 2 items. You get 6 yards of cotton and then 5,000 naira. People have been trained to pretend to be illiterate so that the person who verifies that you indeed voted for them can see clearly who you voted for. Because if you pretend to be illiterate, you then say, look, I don't know which one, but I prefer this particular group, this particular party that has maybe umbrella or broom. You said that you've already been
and
told.
Confirm.
So somebody who is a graduate would then show it to the agent of the party that has been stationed there to facilitate vote buying. That one will now say, okay, this is it. It will now
make sure.
Yes, make sure. So they are not simply going to give you money with.
So you can't vote conscience.
No, they are looking at you. And unfortunately, the cubicles, I once told the INEC chairman that perhaps the cubicles should be higher because people can easily see, the agents that they position can easily see who you are voting for. And if you didn't vote for them, you will not get anything.
Okay, I would like us to talk about conscience a bit later because that conscience that keeps coming up, I don't know if Nigerians really do have conscience, but we'll come to that issue later. Let's go back to Imo State. The gap was gigantic.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, how
would it be real?
Pull that off? I mean, those real numbers. I mean, you just wonder because even I was going to go to Kogi in a minute, where his was about less than 10% of the winner, and that's was a Memelaye. But staying with Imo for a second, that gap was quite rather wide. The town of what had by that kind of gap
in the first place, or people really came out to vote, or you put in so much work into getting those numbers.
A lot of factors were at play here. If Emeka Ihedioha had contested that election, there's no way Governor Hope Uzodinma will have those numbers. No way. Wow. I don't know the circumstances that forced Ihedioha to give up. He won the last election. He was governor for some months before the Supreme Court took it off him and gave Hope. Suddenly, he decided I was no longer interested. He quit the race. He's very popular, especially in Owerri zone, which is the most densely populated zone, senatorial zone. The governor is from Olu zone. The other zone is Okigwe. Now, Owerri has not produced a governor, so the people really want to produce a governor. Now, Ihedioha left, and Sam Dadi, Sam Anyanwu, former secretary of the PDP, took that governorship slot. A good number of Ihedioha supporters refused to work for Sam Anyanwu. They voted for Hope Uzodinma. They made up their minds because they felt that, look, their man was forced out of the race. Right. You know, for someone to just get up and say, okay, I'm no longer contesting. Somebody who had been in the race for so long and somebody that people had sympathy for because the election in 2019 was won by him. So that helped. That weakened the PDP and gave Hope Uzodinma the edge. Then, talking about the choice of deputy governor, Hope Uzodinma did what the governor of Adamawa did. The governor of Adamawa had a man as deputy governorship candidate.
And swapped.
Before the elections, we had him dropped and picked a woman, a professor, a VC, I think VC of the State University. Hope did the same thing. Because, see, women are far easier to mobilize for elections than men. I've seen that because I lived in the north. I'm conversant with voter behavior in that part of our country. It's a lot easier to mobilize women. And when the women say they are going in this direction,
that's it.
That is it. There's a woman who lost her ward by just six votes in Imo State. One, Maria, lost her ward by 6 votes to the PDP. She was, it was impossible to console her. She kept weeping. She felt she let herself down. So that's the sort of loyalty that women give you. And Uzodinma did what you call denominational balance. He is Catholic, his deputy is Catholic, but this time around, he brought an Anglican. So you can see that, okay, people will look at things now and say, look, this person is fair to all. He's brought somebody. So that also helped him. And then we've been telling them, look, if you vote for me from this Owerri zone, I will guarantee that it's an Owerri man that becomes the next governor. So he used that to campaign. Finally, in my view, apart from the fact that, okay, he did well in terms of roads construction, he also got the people to see clearly that, look, the insecurity that we've been having is politically motivated. You can't blame me for it. So a lot of the people already made up their minds that they will vote this guy. And he reconciled with the APC leaders before the election. You see the caliber of people attending his rallies. I was surprised how he managed to do it.
Yeah.
Ogivo Okorocha, my friend.
Yes, I was surprised. I saw.
Okorocha too. So he found a way to, whereas the PDP was badly dismembered. Ask anybody who is committed to the truth. The PDP in the state that they were could not have gone to that election and win. That's why it was how do you go into a race divided? When you go into a race divided, you stand no chance of winning. Yeah. That's why I laugh at Atiku when Atiku wants the world to believe that he won the last election. How do you win an election in which a Kwankwaso, you allowed Kwankwaso to leave your party just because of one key position in the NWC that Kwankwaso's protege wanted to occupy? They insisted that he would not get it. He left the party. That's more than 1 million votes from Kano gone. Then we had those governors, that left. People like Wiki and all of them. You had Obitu also left. If they had remained, all of them, those three candidates, between them they had 14-point-something million votes. It would have been a rout. Ashwaju would have been blown out of the water. But they didn't see the need to resolve their differences. They lost the election. They are now hysterical. They are saying all kinds of things.
Let's talk. I have to go on a break. When we come back, we continue our conversation. Stay with us.
Questions? Yes.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Ikechukwu Sunday Okonkwo, aka Cross. Now your intro without
Wow.
So there's a name that thing that's.
I'm just drinking because you say I should drink. There's no particular answer.
You think it's only that can be wicked?
What's the answer?
Subterfuge.
Eh?
Yeah. They claim you did, but you said it just happened. That
and it's called what again?
Subterfuge.
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 So you look me finish from head to toe. You look at a person who go know what to become such. Yeah?
The nude wasn't like a game plan. Or...
I promise you, it was actually a mistake. It was sending it to someone, and it just mistakenly just went that.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please help welcome to the show La General, the one and only Pere Egbe. Which of the following is false about teeth? We are born with 20 primary teeth. Teeth are the hardest substance in the body. Teeth are the strongest bones in the body.
Teeth is not a bone, actually.
Teeth can self-repair.
The strongest bone in the body, no. Teeth is not a bone.
Final answer?
teeth is not a bone. You know what came to my head now? That sound. Crickets.
So, editor, you can put that cricket sound there. Where just, you can still put it down too.
When was the first Gulda ultimate search? Editor?
Don't put any cricket sound. I'm talking. Okay, team that you're supporting. And
Ghana will be alright.
Yeah, last.
Charlie? Cheers, Charlie.
Mr. Jide Kolade Otitoju. Yes, Nima.
So, another interesting state for me was Kogi. And I'll just start quick. No, Kogi is so Gami State. Yes, quickly from Senator Dino Melaye's polling unit. He won his polling unit. Only for facts to come out later that he himself did not vote. He alleged that it was scientifically rigged. He does not trust the system. What are the implications of a candidate not taking part in elections?
His own election.
The law says you must be involved in every phase of the election to be properly elected. He did not vote. That means he was not involved in every phase of the election. You have to vote and be voted for. It's there.
That's still subject to interpretation. No? Somebody can say, I campaigned. Must I vote?
You must vote for yourself.
You must vote and be voted for. If we had time, I will show you that portion. Yes.
Okay.
You know, it's there. It even came up during Faliki versus Abelo.
Okay, sir. So, I think about 3 elections ago, anybody that watches your view then will know that I always carry political matter on my head. I had to switch from
like Oshuka.
As in, I just loved the intrigues of politics.
The way Bonner Boy said.
But I've now moved to loving money. However, it's impacting our business. It's impacting life. And because of my love for politics, I see that the intrigues will never favor the people. At every point in time, the political machinery would work to favor the politicians. And their work is to ensure people remain impoverished so that it's easy to buy votes, it's easy to convince them to come back again. Is it possible for the people to rally and for us to have a definite change in the political... It's not even about APC or PDP, like a definite change. Can the people rally against this current political system? Is there any hope? Maybe in the next 4 years or 8 years, how do you forecast that?
That's a really tough question. I badly want to see a Nigeria where the voter is the king. Where we can chase away bad leaders with our votes. Where the fidelity of our elections is guaranteed. Where you can be sure that the election will proceed without vote rigging and other malpractices. But it's extremely difficult here. There are some things that politicians do that even INEC right now cannot do anything about. Politicians, when they see that the opponent is strong in an area, they send talks to go and disrupt voting there. Yes. And what the INEC regulations say is that where voting is characterized by violence, they will cancel the elections there. That way you have rewarded the aggressor without knowing. You've rewarded the aggressor. Look at the presidential election. In some parts of the north, serious fighting took place in some polling centers. I know that a lot of those fights were deliberate, meant to weaken the capacity of some parties to win. You know, so it's not rigging in the way that we are familiar with, but it's still rigging. Because rigging gives you an unfair advantage. By ensuring that votes do not count where a politician is strong, you've rigged him out. That's the way I see it. We've got to be able to find a balance. Ensure that, look, the aggressor does not get rewarded for his actions. Secondly, if we have a succession of good elections, and this will happen if we continually reform the electoral process. If we have a succession of good elections, those elections will inevitably breed good leaders. Because people now know that you cannot rig the election. I keep telling people, India is currently the world's most populated country. They've overtaken China. India is the world's biggest democracy. They do both electronic and manual voting. It's, for most countries of the world, it's difficult to wholly do, if not impossible, to wholly do electronic voting. Paper trail still has to come in at some point. Apart from countries like maybe Estonia, very small countries, those are countries that they could say, oh, we are technologically strong enough to do 100% electronic voting. And even at that, for the purpose of record keeping, they still must keep that paper trail. So India combines electronic with manual voting, but you won't be able to rig an election as big as it is. Wow. Do you know how many Nigerians you can take out of India in terms of the landmass? Yes. You know? Do you know how many?
They got something right.
Yes, they found a way to make sure that you cannot rig the process. Who the people want will still become the winner of the election. And if you don't work for the people, they will kick you out. In fact, for little things, when Sonia Gandhi led the Congress party to victory some years back, what did she campaign on? The wife of Rajiv Gandhi. She campaigned on the fact that India has experienced economic prosperity, but nobody is taking care of people in the slums. That was her mantra. That was what she campaigned on. Come and see voting. People were shocked. The whole world was shocked that a very successful prime minister, Vajpayee, who was credited with turning India into a big IT power, was swept out of office.
Wow.
Dozens of MPs lost their seats because she campaigned, she focused on the poorest of the poor and told them, look, you've been left behind in the prosperity of India. And that message resonated. And they couldn't use incumbency, they chased them away. So we should get to that point.
Yes, how do we get to that point where the message that the people who are coming to contest, their message resonates? Because what I see is, they may know that this person would likely do the work, but because the person is not dropping rice or dropping gari or dropping anything, they will not vote for you. We are more into this stomach infrastructure. How do we get to that point where even the poor will refuse to collect anything because they want to vote the person they believe can do the work? It's all one.
Oh, it is. The people are battling to survive. Just check your phone and see the number of people asking you for favor every given day.
Yes.
It wasn't like that before. Today, when your phone rings, you are scared to even pick it, especially if it's a non-familiar number. Yes. Because it could be one favor that you are not even in position to offer that they're asking for. So people who are battling existential problems, people who are struggling to survive, who do not know where their next meal will come from. It is easy for the political class to weaponize poverty. Yes. They will take the money.
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call. Thanks for calling. I'm sorry I lost that call. The reason, I'll come to you, Nima. The reason why I wanted to come back to the issue of conscience is because this word conscience, when you say vote your conscience, you're thinking, who are we talking to exactly? Because when I traveled to Maiduguri some months back, and I saw a huge crowd of people there, and I was looking at them, I'm thinking, the mind of this person, I want to compare it to the person I see in Lagos, for example, maybe the working class. And they are two different human beings. Yes. This one is on social media, talking, speaking her views, their thoughts. This one is like listening to what our leader has said, and we're going. And I could see that. I could see that their mind. I could see their mindset. They are two different human beings. And I'm thinking to myself, when I say vote your conscience, who am I talking to exactly? Whose conscience? Like how do we? Can we really trust the Nigerian conscience?
That's the question.
Can I even trust this conscience? Because we're all saying, let them vote there. Because which conscience? Is it the man that is hungry, that is starving, that wants to eat whatever you give to him?
The conscience itself is influenced by all kinds of variables.
Exactly.
Ethnicity,
religion,
you know, money. These are key factors that shape electoral behavior in our country. You see some of those clerics. That's why politicians take those clerics seriously. If the clerics turn against you, people have seen these clerics as assistants to God. Whatever they say, they take it. When clerics were preaching against COVID, many people in the north believed that COVID did not exist, that it existed in the imagination of some people.
Yes.
When some clerics were preaching against vaccination, against polio, many people felt, look, I should not get vaccinated though. Even this vaccine that they brought the other day for young, some clerics were preaching against it. So they influence our people a lot. So at the end of the day, a man decides who to vote for, not having been led by his inner mind or by his so-called conscience, but by what somebody else told him. Somebody that he has come to see as his God on earth. What he told him to do is what he goes ahead to do. And that's why they have such cult following that before an election you must patronize them. Otherwise they work against you, and when they work against you, the impact could be fatal for you. So as you said, voter behavior in Lagos will never be the same as in the north. In the north, people are a lot easier to mobilize. Here, they register, perhaps they need the PVC for something else. They hardly come out to vote. On election day, you see people playing football in the neighborhood. But over there, they are easier to mobilize.
Let me pause you for a second. I have a call and come to Nima. Izuma has been holding. Good morning, Izuma.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Mr. Jude, good morning.
Good morning, Izuna.
Yeah, sorry.
He saw the result, and he was saying that they used to listen to me. Apparently, he was going to say, but these days you don't speak the truth anymore. I'm used to it.
So that local government now, well, hopefully if we check IREV to see if indeed voting took place.
Saturday evening we're discussing election and prices of food, and somebody say, Ashiwaju is not paying us, it's tell your family the things are hard and everything is hard. And I was like, each state and each state governors are the direct closest governors
to the people,
machinery that you have to the people, and these governors enjoy office without necessarily accounting or showing any work they do. For instance, they are the ones who will now come and buy votes. The federalists all the way there in Abuja. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the performances of some of these governors and why it counted or did not count in their favor.
These days, a governor may not work and still get re-elected. Some of the governors that left office in May, I know some really poor ones that didn't work for the people, but some of them still found their way into the Senate. So that means our people have rewarded inefficiency, incompetence, and all that. Some people, some governors are not good enough to head their community associations, but they still win elections. And that's why I keep saying that, look, we've got to do something about our leadership recruitment module, because it's not delivering the right leaders for us. Leaders who have conscience, leaders who put the people first. There are not many in our country. We have a lot of leaders who put their families first, who put their friends first. You people find their ways into government. They have opportunities to pick people who will man agencies of government who man ministries, man boards, it is their friends that they first think about, or their family members. Some we will think about their wives first. They do not care about headhunting the right people, people with competence, people who have conscience, people who truly fear God. Because the Nigerian politician will keep talking about God, 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 God all the time, but they don't have fear of God. It's all impotent religiosity.
Oh.
They don't fear God. When you fear God, you know that God has entrusted people in your care, and you must do your best to take good care of them. But if you come up with policies that make the people poorer, that leads to deaths of people, how can you then say you have conscience or that you fear God? It's really perplexing.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue and wrap up with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Come closer. A little bit more. Perfect. I have exciting news for you. You asked for it and you got it. Your favorite breakfast show, Your View, will be going to 2 hours. We're going to have in-depth analysis of the newspaper review and more conversations on the hot topics. The ladies of Your View and I will be stirring up our guests to get in-depth into all the various topics, and you, our viewers, will have the opportunity to call in and share your views. After all, it's your view. Join us on Your View, 9 a.m.
A sprinkling of current affairs, some very deep topical issues, and last but not the least, a healthy dose of grumbling of those we love to hate. And yes, you guessed it, women. So, if you catch the drift, then you're onto something. We will provide you with the right insights into most of your curiosities, right here within this beautiful cocktail we call the Black Table.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing the elections. Let's talk about Dino Melaye for a minute, because he's been a major character in many of these elections, even before the presidential elections, even during the announcement of the result. We saw his drama. Since then, things calmed down, and then suddenly he says, I'm running for governor, come and vote for me. And we started seeing him around. Now, what are your thoughts? What do you think about his political relevance going forward, or how can he still remain relevant, at least in PDP, because PDP need all their soldiers right now. I mean, they seem to be somewhat drowned, especially with what happened with Atiku and all that. So they need all their key players to be united and back together. So what are your thoughts on his political future?
Well, it's really tough. He has the opportunity to bounce back. Age is on his side, just as age is on Muritala Jaka's side too. What happened to APC, PDP in Kogi is similar to what happened to PDP in Lagos during the governorship election. Check the figures. They are similar in terms of the very poor performance that the PDP put off. I personally told people that Dino will come third in this election. Many times, Dolapo and I discussed. I said he will come a distant third. So yesterday he called me and said, Oga,
46,000, I think, you've gathered?
46. We came third. You see, the fact of Leke Abejide even contesting, and he's also from my area, from Okunland. There's a candidate from AA, there's Leke Abejide, there's Dino. It doesn't help. How did Yabelo manage to get only, or let me say, how did Ebraland manage to have only Ododo on the ballot?
Yes.
No other person got up from any party.
Yes.
When Natasha won the senatorial election, on journalist Angel Tayo asked me, they said, this Natasha's victory may alter the calculation. I said, Ebiras will not see their son on the ballot and vote for someone else. And this is the truth, because it happened in 1983 when Cornelius Adebayo, the candidate of the UPN, picked Usman Abatemi and Ibraman as his deputy. And the sitting governor at that time was Adamu Atta. So they saw that Adamu Atta had a better chance of staying in office. They didn't even imagine that Abatemi was there. They totally voted for the Atta ticket. Yes. And that's what we saw again today. Yes, the opposition is saying that some of the numbers from Okene were cooked up and all that. I am not in position, because I'm not a judge, to determine whether they were lying or not. The courts can easily determine that the same way the court determined that Natasha was the rightful winner of the senatorial election, and Natasha didn't need IREF to prove that she won the election. She used the physical result from EC8A, the result sheet, to prove that she indeed won that election. So, Dino coming third is not something that came to me as a surprise. I had long envisaged that that's the way the elections will go, because the people of the Kogi East will vote overwhelmingly for their son. You know, because Ajaka ran a very strong campaign. Though there were other people from that zone who contested, but Ajaka's campaign was very formidable, and it was far better organized than the rest of them. So I knew that there would be a deluge of votes going to him. So once he locks up that side, there's no way Dino will be able to fish from Kogi East. And already our own people in Okunland were not going to vote for Dino. I don't want to talk about some of those. Because
as an addendum to this question I asked you, because what of PDP on the larger scale? Because with what happened with the election results from the tribunal, and I see a few of their big wigs like Dele Momodu, and everybody just trying to just keep that opposition alive. That listen, we are still here. Do you think there's a struggle between that LP PDP where somebody's fighting to be the main opposition against APC, and what can they do to get stronger? Because now, elections are about to be completely over now, and everybody's going to focus on 2027 coming up. What are your own thoughts as regards PDP? How can they get their strength back to where it was before?
They have to forgive one another and allow real reconciliation to take place. The refusal to reconcile is what cost them in Plateau. Look at what has happened in Plateau. It's a tragedy. Losing all your House of Reps members, losing your House of Assembly members because you failed to carry out the instruction of the court. The party leadership refused to reconcile. So in the recent, there was no structure. The primaries that were supposed to hold did not hold. At the end of the day, they cancelled, because you can't build something on nothing. So that does not have the means of resolving internal disputes, that party would inevitably go down. You've got to resolve things when there will be disagreement, but you've got to resolve, come together.
You know what I remember now? The prayer points that they give us in church. Because send the camp of my enemies. Send some confusion in the camp of my enemies. That's exactly to focus on fighting themselves.
It shows that we are in the same WhatsApp group. Because as he was saying it, I was thinking it.
People need prayer points. They need a prayer point to bring us back together.
I think Nigerians need prayer points. That leaders that will not serve us the account.
God will chase them away. God will chase them. God will sort them out.
Sort them out. Even we started talking in our WhatsApp group. But you know, rounding off, there are people that are disgruntled, and we need to speak to them. Because as long as we have people that are sitting and observe our elections from a point of view of they against us, and are not willing to rally after elections for the growth towards the growth for the people, we would always have issues.
Yes.
So what would you say to those that are watching now and saying this is not an election, it's not free, it's not fair, it's not going to work, and they are not going to in any way collaborate with the government?
It's on social media these days, people are not even ready for a healthy argument. They made up their minds, whatever you say, they will not believe. Okay, we were discussing here, trying to explain. One reason cannot cause someone to win an election or lose an election. It's usually a multiplicity of factors. But some people have made up their minds, oh, the elections were rigged. They will not look at the mistakes that they made on their own that made it easier for the opponent to win. They won't. So where people have this mindset, how do you talk to them, for God's sake? Where somebody who came to has already made up his mind that he's the one who won.
Or it's been announced in the America as the president of Nigeria.
Yes, someone who won just 2 out of 19 northern states. And those 2 were Christian-dominated states. You didn't find a way to convince the core north. And the greater percentage of the votes are there. And you are still saying you are the one who won. How do I convince you that you are a liar? They won't listen. People have made up their mind, it's the worst election in history. And you ask, how many electoral cycles have they even seen?
Did they observe?
How many have they seen? How old are they? They made up their mind, it's the worst. But I know with the passage of time, we will come to reality. Whether we like it or not, we need to build a good nation. A nation that works for all. And hopefully, as Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the road has been bumpy, but we hope that some of this reform will deliver dividends in the final analysis, because that's what the World Bank and others are saying, that they hope that political expediency will not make him to change some of the big decisions that he has taken, because they will bring dividends in the final analysis.
I can't let you go without saying something. Lots of political activists are calling for, I mean, right now, so the elections are over. Supreme Court has made an announcement, but we still have activists trying to incite, going on social media, saying that we are going to shut down Nigeria, we're going to do all sort of things. What can we do? I mean, protesting and, pulling down this nation. What can we do? What do you think? How do we resolve this?
How do Nigerians respond to those calls?
Nigerians should just ignore them.
We ignore them. They're in our faces. They're in front of us every single day.
Oh, so what do we then do? We can't flog them.
Their noise is heavy on social media.
Yeah, that is what they have. But if they now come to Abuja to say they want to surround the seat of power because they don't like the man who is there, of course they will be resisted. When you take the law into your hands, you'll be resisted.
Some protests have been very costly. People have been incited to burn down state investments that had huge, that we cannot even sit down here and do the accounting.
It happened.
On a sitting court in this country, huge investments. Those are such inciting comments online should even be,
They are going to eventually push this country to change the cyber laws. So that some of them cannot get away with the nonsense that they are doing. Because people who are ensconced abroad, they are based abroad, they are far away from the fury here. And they are throwing stones at us, trying to get our people to kill one another. Whereas they are safe where they are with their children. Those people should be ignored. If you really feel so bad about our country, you want to change it, come here, let's survey the country together right here. Not by staying abroad and then stoning your country. So I still think that we should appeal to the sensibilities of decent Nigerians. That look, the social media is such a toxic environment. If you can't stay away, ignore the message from the enemies of our country who have given up on the country and they want to win as many people to their side as possible.
Right. I have to wrap up. So let's stay away from enemies of Nigeria. Let's call them as they are.
And from their language, we know.
Enemies of Nigeria. we'll stay away from you. That's all we can take. Thank you so much, Mr.
Great having you.
It's always a pleasure having you. We hope you come more often.
It's always a pleasure sitting.
Come more often. That's what
with
we
the
want.
women.
Come more
You know, the man in the midst of women is a blessed man.
Have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.